What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to rebirthedu.com. I'm your host, Kendrick, aka Also the Great. So we want to kind of look at these quadrants that they describe in the book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. These quadrants are really important, man. They describe them in the book to kind of help you a lot with your time management and making sure you prioritize what's important in your life that's going to make you a better you, right? So, um, hit like, hit subscribe, all the housekeeping stuff. Y'all know how that goes. It helps out with the algorithm. But let's make this quick so you guys can really start implementing what you're going to see right here, okay? So, if you look at what we got right here, if I don't tear up everything in my little room. So, if you look at what we got right here, so we got four quadrants right here. One, two, three, four. And if you label them important, going across right here, not important, going across right here, urgent, going across down right here, and not urgent, going down right here, you see how they match up. So this is important and urgent. This right here is not important and not urgent. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty well if it stays in focus like it's supposed to, right? So, um, this first one right here, this first quadrant, things that are urgent and important, right? Let me get out of the way so I make sure it stays in focus. This is the worst place for you to be. Well, one of the worst places. You're constantly in crisis mode. This is where you have pressing problems. You're always firefighting, trying to put out fires. Something that's urgent and really important is like a surgery, right? Um, and what happens in this quadrant, you end up dealing with a lot of stress, crisis management. You got to deal with burnout and all these pressing matters that just kind of leave you shook constantly. You know, quadrant two is a lot different. It's important, but it's not urgent. There's no deadline on this. There's no, hey, you got to get this done right now. But this is where the discipline comes in because this is super duper important as well. If you look relationship building, that's important, but it's not anything that you have to do immediately, right? Planning, preventative activities like exercising, eating right. These are all things that are super important that you do, but they're not urgent that you do them immediately, right? Your personal growth, taking the time out to read and learn and get better. These are things that are super important, but again, they're not urgent. But what happens when you do these things, you end up having more control. You have a good balance in your life. You're disciplined, and you can really see the vision that you have for your life and really plan things out. Right, right here, the stuff that's not important. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go over really quick. This is like things that are urgent, like maybe some phone call. Well, the phone's ringing right now, so you got to answer it right now. That essentially makes it urgent, but sometimes it's not necessarily important. So the interruptions, some phone calls and emails, popular activities like maybe a sporting event or a concert or something like that. Um, there's a time frame on that, but it's not necessarily important that you go to these types of things, right? And so those people are usually people that are out of control. They really don't have much focus, so they're easily distracted. They feel like their goals, making goals, is worthless and useless, and they usually end up having broken relationships. Okay, so and then the last quadrant, quadrant four, things that are not important and they're not urgent at all, like playing games. Again, some calls or texts. Sometimes you're just talking to people for no damn reason at all. Time wasters like watching TV, entertainment, also like watching TV or catching up on shows, things that you don't necessarily need to do um, at all. So these people are usually irresponsible. These are the people that get fired. Okay, yeah, you're at your job texting. You know what I'm saying? You're failing, right? And these are people that are usually dependent on others, and that's not where we want to be, right? We don't want to depend on other people. We want to depend on ourselves. Okay, so the way you should handle these four quadrants, right? Things that are urgent and important, you need to do, right? You need to do those because it needs to happen. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. But here's the one where you want to live. You want to spend most of your time in quadrant two, where you plan and prioritize. This is the creative square. This is where you get to be the best version of yourself and plan out your life and live in peace. Because you don't want to be in crisis mode. Like, for instance, the preventative activities like exercising and eating right. Well, so a lot of times that'll prevent you from having a surgery or something like that because of your health being bad. Maybe the planning and relationship building gets you out of crisis mode and prevents you from being in all this stressful situations because you planned and prioritized properly. Okay. Now, the stuff that's urgent, not necessarily important, if you have the ability to delegate that to other people or maybe some software or something like that, that's what you want to do with that, right? You don't really want that to take up too much of your time, even though it may be time sensitive. Maybe you can delegate that to someone else or something else. A lot of technology out here that can kind of help you manage a lot of this stuff. Like, say, for instance, spam blockers. You got some kind of spam blocker that keeps you from getting a whole bunch of phone interruptions that's keeping you from being where you want to be. Okay. Now, the time wasters, you want to eliminate these altogether, right? Stop playing crazy games. Stop wasting your time. Stop watching a bunch of TV shows. I'm not saying don't watch any at all, but if you plan it properly, right, you can have yourself some entertainment. You can play some games. If you plan it all properly and you handle your business, it's not to say that you can't do any of those things, but if you're in a situation where you're not where you want to be in life, you got to stop playing games. Okay? That's the reality of it. Stop fooling around. Stop playing games. Handle your business. Okay? So that's these four qualities. You can fill them out however you want to fill them out. But basically, at the end of the day, you just need to prioritize what's important, right? Prioritize what's important in your life and make it happen. Okay? Uh, don't leave don't leave everything to chance. Stop letting other people dictate your life and tell you what to do and when to do it, right? You don't want to be the guy that's dependent on other people for your future. You want to be the guy that's handling your business. You're out here grinding. You're making things better for yourself, right? Take your budget into your own hands. I always bring it back to that, man, because that budget is big time. This is part of the reason why Rebirth started, was people not really knowing how to manage their money properly. Okay, so keep all that in mind. Do what you got to do to handle your business. We're going to see y'all on the next book.